Thank you, Mr. President. Got kind of a nice ring to it. I am honored to be your commencement speaker today. I got a confession to make. I've never given one before. But I'm honored to be chosen by Highland Park High School because Highland Park, to me, epitomizes excellence in education. It's got a rich tradition, a great history, a school board willing to pay their teachers money to teach you, and as importantly, a group of parents that really do care about the type of education you get. I kind of, when I walked in the room, sensed a collective sigh of relief from the parents and grandparents as they watch you move on. So I offer my congratulations to them, to the administration, to the teachers, and most importantly for you people that have succeeded in getting out of high school. I have been asked to do some amazing things ever since November of 1988, to speak in a lot of interesting places. This is going to be one of the most interesting ones. It just goes to show good things happen to you when you're related to a famous person. Mama sends her best. The truth of the matter is that Mama can't send her best tonight, however. She's bunkered down in Wellesley, Massachusetts, preparing her commencement speech. It's entitled, "It's Hard to Be a Graduate Without a Mother." Being a thorough fellow, being the thorough fellow that I am, I did some research into what it took to give a high school graduation speech. My research showed me that it can be a dangerous speech to give. People have found in the past that sometimes spheroids and objects may be tossed from the graduating class. If that be your choice tonight, I have one special request. No broccoli. I thought I would try to be relevant. What I thought I would do is reach back to my high school graduation speech in 1964 and come up with cogent points that speaker gave my graduating class. The problem was I couldn't remember one point. I couldn't even remember who the speaker was. Point 2 of high school graduation speeches. They're dangerously irrelevant and easily forgotten. Since I couldn't remember my high school speech, what I thought I would do, though, is quote to you probably one of the greatest commencement speeches ever given. It was given by Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill was a dismal failure in high school. If he wasn't last in his class, he was next to last. He had been written off by teachers and administration alike. And yet Winston Churchill became one of the greatest figures in freedom and freedom's march that the world has ever known. At any rate, Winston Churchill, as you may or may not know, I hope you know this, was the Prime Minister of England, led us through World War II, finally served his country and the world well, and was in retirement, enfeebled, sick, could barely move, and was invited back to the very grounds at which he became last or second to last in his class to give the commencement address. He was helped to the stage. He could barely move. This proud figure of a man by the class president and probably the class vice president. He stood at the microphone. He said, "Never give up." And he sat down. I am no Winston Churchill, but I take his point well. I know you'd rather be somewhere else than here, and shortly you will be, but let me share a few points with you that I think you may find interesting. I found them interesting when I was writing, at least. The amazing events of your senior year in high school, I think, are going to be a prelude to the type of world you live in. The events of the Iron Curtain lifting and walls tumbling down should indicate what's going to happen in the year 2000 and beyond, just when you're beginning to hit stride, if you choose to hit stride at all. You see, what it tells me is that freedom of ideas, freedom of thought, freedom of speech, and the freedom to make choices in the marketplace are irreversible. And what those freedoms are going to do as they break out all over the world is shrink the world. You see, we're going to live in a world where there is a common marketplace. It matters, it should matter to you that Japan and the Far East are going to be open for Western goods. Europe and the common market is going to be one giant marketplace, and the United States will continue to be a great consuming and hopefully producing nation. But what matters and what's relevant to you is, you see, as the world shrinks, because of the incredible clarity of information, because technology is going to change our lives so dramatically, what matters to you is what happens in Tokyo colleges and what happens in Germany's colleges. You see, you're going to be in a world where you compete with people all over the world for jobs, which says to me that as you progress through college and as Highland Park High School develops curricula, we got to be mindful that the world is shrinking, that our competition just isn't in Fort Worth, Texas, but the competition is in Tokyo and Berlin. Folks, we're in a world that in the years 2000 and beyond, really incredible, exciting times for you, is going to be one in which the world is so interconnected that you may have lunch in Tokyo, fly to Sao Paulo, Brazil for dinner, and be home to watch the Texas Rangers on TV that night. What it really means is you got to be literate in the language of the 2000s, literate in technology, literate in service. What it really means is the day and age of people making a living with their backs is gone. The day and age of people competing with their brains is here. It is a novel concept, but one in which our schools and you as students have to be prepared to tackle. We're going to be in an age of biotechnological breakthroughs and genetical change, so that we're going to develop incredible types of food and medicines to cure disease like we've never known before. Right next door, it is conceivable that we'll be able to discover how the world we live in and the universe we live in was started with the super collider superconductor, and at the same time develop magnets efficient enough to carry energy like we've never known before in the world. I mean, we're going to be in a time of incredible change and incredible opportunity. I think it's going to be unbelievably exciting for you, so long as you understand that you got to use your brain, that you can't quit, that you got to work hard to get ahead. Now let me just tell you something. As the world changes, I think there's going to be some truths that need to remain the same. One, the traditional family structure as we know it in 1990 must be the crux of societies of the future. Two, baseball will always be played outdoors on grass and wooden bats. Three, drugs destroy lives in 1990, and they're going to destroy lives in the year 2000. Nothing's going to change. Four, people will always seek freedom, political and economic freedoms. 5, God exists today, and God will exist in the year 2000 and beyond. And finally, Winston Churchill's 1950 address, 50 years later, is still worth remembering. Never give up. Thank you.